is coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're mine. They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. That's what it sounded like. Good, you know who I am. And then you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
And good evening, guys. Happy New Year. It's your boy, old boy. Good evening.
Tonight's episode is the next in the saga of the woolly mammoth that we've been talking about. Many moons ago, we did our first episode. This was several years ago, back when this was just theoretical, of whether they could bring back the woolly mammoth. There was talk that they were going to try. They definitely wanted to, but they weren't quite sure exactly how they were going to do it back at that time. Well, we've done 3 or 4 shows now on this, and we've kind of tracked it as it's went along. And they're at the point now where they're saying it's going to happen, that they're literally a year or 2 away, and that what they're going to be doing is using the African elephant and putting woolly mammoth genes into that genome and creating another woolly mammoth.
Woolly mammoth hybrids could be roaming Earth in just 5 years. By Pandora Dewan. Over 4 billion species are estimated to have walked this planet over the last 3.5 billion years. 99% of them are now gone. But today's researchers are hoping to reintroduce these lost species, or at least something very similar to them, within the next 5 years. One biotechnology company called Colossal Biosciences is aiming to do just that with the long-extinct giant of the last ice age, the woolly mammoth. Launched by tech entrepreneur Ben Lamb and renowned geneticist George Church, Colossal Biosciences hopes to use gene editing technology to create a cold-resistant elephant that closely resembles its ancient ancestor in form and function. How to recreate a mammoth? Woolly mammoths went extinct around 3,700 years ago, but their close genetic relatives still walk among us to this day. If you compare the elephant and the mammoth, they're very closely related, Church told Newsweek. They're closer than African and Asian elephants. His co-founder Lamb told Newsweek that Asian elephants and woolly mammoths actually share 99.6% of their genes. And it is this remaining 0.4% that the researchers are focusing on. If you look at their genomes, there are just little changes, and you can introduce ones that you think are likely to make them cold-resistant, Church said. In other words, the team is hoping to engineer Asian elephants that are able to withstand the freezing temperatures of the Arctic. We're focusing on what those core traits are that need to be exhibited in order for us to have successful rewilding of the species, Lamb said. It's not just the shaggy coat and small ears, but it's also things like how mammals and other animals metabolize things at sub-zero temperatures. Why reintroduce mammoths to the Arctic? Woolly mammoths are thought to have evolved around 300,000 years ago, spreading across North America, Europe, and Asia. Most mammoth populations died out about 10,000 years ago. Although the last population of woolly mammoths is thought to have lived out on Wrangel Island in Arctic Siberia until 1650 BC, these animals were enormous, growing up to 13 feet tall and weighing around 6 to 8 tons. Their herbivorous diet and massive size allowed them to play a central role in maintaining the health and biodiversity of the ecosystems in which they lived. Today, the Arctic is largely made up of moss, shrubs, and sparse forest. But when mammoths lived there, the landscape was very different. Thousands of years ago, there was mostly grass. Now it's mostly trees, Church said. The Arctic is in need of restoration. Reintroducing any native populations in the Arctic would help restore the natural ecosystem. But elephant-mammoth hybrids can do something that most other animals cannot. What the elephants do, that no other species can do, is they knock down trees and they restore the grasslands, Church said. That might sound counterintuitive as we are told to replant trees to save the planet. But, as Lamb said, not all trees are created equal. In some environments like the rainforest, trees form a major habitat for many different animal species. But, In the Arctic, Church said that they actually exclude larger animals. They also trap the snow, so you get a thick layer of snow that keeps the warm summer heat in like a down blanket. And that's bad because it'll cause thawing, he said. When the frozen soil begins to thaw, carbon that has been locked inside it for centuries can be released into the atmosphere. The Arctic has 1,400 gigatons of carbon that could be released in the form of methane, which is 80 times worse than carbon dioxide, for global warming, Church said. Large herbivores can actually compact this snow, reducing its ability to insulate the ground beneath, thus reducing the risk of soil thaw. Grasslands also reflect more heat and light back into the atmosphere. A thick wooden forest is darker and will therefore absorb more heat than a snowy, grassy plain. Finally, grasses have deep root systems that enable them to store more carbon underground relative to their size, and they have been shown to be more reliable stores of carbon than trees in unstable habitats. However, Lamb said that the goal is not to get rid of all of the trees, rather, it is to restore the balance of the ecosystem that was present thousands of years ago. Why did the mammoth go extinct? Numerous hypotheses have been put forward as to why the woolly mammoth went extinct. Mammoth populations began to die out at the end of the last ice age, about 11,000 years ago. As the Earth warmed, the area of land with suitable climate conditions for the animals shrunk, forcing the animals to retreat further and further north. As well as shrinking habitats, climate change may have affected how much food was available to these animals, but it wasn't the only thing these herbivores had to worry about. There are a lot of people who feel that the extinction of mammoths was greatly exacerbated by predators that stood on two legs and threw spears, Church said. I think that is quite likely. Our impact on these animals can be seen in the fossil record. Spear and arrow marks can be seen on the animal's bones, and, in 2017, a mammoth skeleton was found with a spear still lodged inside. They have shown that the rise of early men and the decline of mammoths are pretty closely inversely related, Lamb said. It's not just mammoths. When they go to a place for the first time, humans are pretty good at finding the biggest, slowest things and killing them and eating them. The problem with the Arctic is that it is not just missing mammoths. It is missing almost every major herbivore. In somewhere like Africa, where food is much more plentiful, large mammals were able to bounce back from human hunting. But the Arctic is a harsh environment to survive in at the best of times. It's fairly sparsely populated by both humans and animals, so it's probably easier to tip in either direction, Church said. What are the criticisms? The de-extinction project is not without its critics. An article published in the journal Nature Ecology and Evolution in 2017 criticized de-extinction as a waste of resources that could better be used to conserve living species. However, Lamb said that the technologies being developed to create mammoth-like hybrids would also serve as beneficial technologies for human health. Others have raised ethical concerns for the welfare of these animals. You don't have a mother for a species that, if they are anything like elephants, has extraordinarily strong mother-infant bonds that last for a very long time, Heather Browning, a philosopher at the London School of Economics, told the New York Times. Church previously told Newsweek that Colossal was working with conservation groups that have experience working with orphaned elephants so as to give them the best quality of life. Elephant orphans are an unfortunate consequence of poaching and natural death, he said. There's a great deal of knowledge about how to make artificial milk and how to nurture them with minimal herd involvement. There are also those who are concerned about the fact that mammoth-elephant hybrids would be the result of genetic engineering. Because these animals can be classed as genetically modified organisms, every step of the process needs to be carefully considered, with mechanisms in place to ensure the animals do not disrupt the ecosystems in which they are placed. Luckily, mammoths are relatively easy to keep track of. It is a lot easier to roll back a several thousand-pound animal versus a mosquito, Lem said. We're not working on 50 animals. We're working on a handful and they're all moderately decent sized so that we can really monitor what those hopefully intended and then potentially unintended consequences are so that we can roll them back if we need to. When will these mammoth-like creatures be brought back to the Arctic? The process of rewilding any species needs to be thoughtfully and carefully handled, Lamb said. Our long-term rewilding of the Arctic involves many parties around the table, in full collaboration with local governments, private landowners, and local indigenous people groups. If these initial introductions are successful, the team hopes to scale up the project to create a mammoth-like population big enough to have a significant impact on Arctic restoration. Colossal's long-term goal is to have a herd large enough to aid in the rewilding of the Arctic tundra, but that will take some time, Lamb said. Realistically, we are a decade away from elephants being able to be fully rewilded back into the Arctic where they can also survive on their own. However, there are now 3 labs and over 40 scientists working tirelessly to progress the project. Currently, the project is on track for our original goal timeline of 2027, including the 22 months of gestation for elephants.
Now, there are people that are pro, and there are people that are con. You got some for, some against, is what I'm saying. But I think it's important to realize at this moment that this is inevitable. This is going to happen. Whether we want it to or not, whether it's a good idea or not, doesn't really matter. It's going to happen. I think another thing we really need to think about here is the fact that what is being created is not an actual woolly mammoth. Okay? This process uses the genome of the African elephant. Now, that elephant may be close to what the woolly mammoth was, but it is not 100% woolly mammoth DNA that they're using. So they are splicing some woolly mammoth DNA in with the African elephant genome. Okay? So they're using woolly mammoth genes in the African elephant genome to create a hybrid. That's what we're doing. So what you're going to have is not going to be really a woolly mammoth, and it's not going to be really an African elephant. It's going to be something completely and utterly different. Now, if they're careful, they might be able to make it look like a woolly mammoth, but it's not going to have all the same behavioral traits. It's not going to have all the same physiology as a woolly mammoth. It's just not. And the reason I bring this up is because this goes well beyond just the question of the woolly mammoth. We're also talking about all kinds of other animals that could potentially be brought back. But it's important to remember, before we get into fantasy land of Jurassic Park and dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff, that what is going to be brought back is not the actual creatures that went extinct. Okay? There's been a lot of talk about using this technology to bring back dinosaurs. Some sort of dinosaur. They're probably going to start small, but eventually, as they become more successful with this kind of technology, the sky's the limit, really. What they're talking about doing is using modern day birds. Okay? Some dinosaurs will use chickens. Some dinosaurs will use ostriches. It all depends on the particular dinosaur, what fits best. But what they're going to be doing is taking dinosaur genes that they're able to harvest from old strands of DNA that are left over in different deposits, such as like La Brea tar pits, trapped in blood inside of a mosquito like you saw in Jurassic Park, those kind of things, okay, where they can get a hold of a sample of DNA. Now, that sample of DNA is not going to be intact completely, okay? It's going to be fragmented. So you're only going to have little bits and pieces. So what they'll do is whatever they can salvage, they'll take that, they'll isolate the genes from that, and they will insert them into the genome of whatever animal they're using. So let's say they're using a chicken. They'll take a chicken's genome, and they'll insert whatever genes they're able to salvage from, let's say, a raptor, into the chicken. So then what you're going to end up with is some kind of weird hybrid that's going to have some of the characteristics of the raptor, maybe the intelligence, maybe the strategic planning, maybe it'll have them badass talons and teeth, whatever they're able to salvage. But you're also going to have a lot of characteristics of the chicken, because quite simply, there's going to be more chicken than there is going to be raptor, okay? So that's what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with literally bringing back the creatures as they were. We're dealing with some sort of hybrid, some weird mutation of what was a completely different creature. And as I said, this is inevitable. It will happen. There's nothing we can do to stop it. So, morally, should you do it? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, is there a need for it? Do we need these creatures back? Not really. The more alarming thing to me is the fact that we don't know what we're going to get. If we were, let's say we're bringing back raptors, okay, which is next level crazy because those things, you've seen Jurassic Park, they're crazy animals. They're smart, they're fast, they're deadly. They would be a real problem if you brought them back, okay? But let's say we're bringing back raptors. That's what they decided to do, and there's nothing we can do to stop them. It's going to depend on what animal they use to splice the raptor genes into that genome. What animal? And how much of the raptor genome is there? What characteristics are present because of that particular bit of genome that we have? What's it going to look like? We just don't know. And that's the problem. You might end up with something very, very deadly. Or you might end up with a chicken that you can't even tell the difference between another chicken. It has some raptor DNA, but you can't tell what it is. It doesn't look like a raptor. It looks like a regular old chicken. That's very, very possible. Okay? We just don't know. Worst case scenario, you could end up with an entirely new creature that is insanely dangerous. Best case scenario, you end up with the exact same thing as you already have. It's a crapshoot. We just don't know. Now, they will perfect it over time. They'll isolate bits of genome. They'll figure out what those bits of genome are and what they control, whether they are active or passive genes. They'll know how to put them together with different animals to get different results. They'll experiment a lot. And you're going to have a lot of oopsie moments. A lot of, uh-oh, did we do that? That old Urkel, did I do that? We're going to have a lot of that, okay? And you're going to have some bad things happen. Some people are going to get hurt. I guarantee that. Eventually, they'll figure it out. And they'll be able to control particular species that they can bring back and create different variants. That's 100% possible, and that is inevitable. Just as it is inevitable that people are going to get hurt in the process. I think the more realistic and more useful use of this technology would be to create food supply for us, for humans. Our oceans are being decimated. The fishing methods that we use are destroying our oceans. They drop nets down, they drag them to catch fish. Now, they do catch a lot of fish, and they deplete a lot of fish out of the ocean. So you got struggling numbers of fish anyway, just because of the fishing. But the other problem is those nets drag the bottom. And on the bottom is coral reefs and stuff like that. Those are living ecosystems, and they're being destroyed by indiscriminate fishing, just rolling through there with the net and wiping it clean. So that's got to stop. We got to figure out a way that we're not killing the ocean, because if we kill the ocean, we're all dead. Okay? Why not, if you have the ability to do this? This is essentially cloning, is what we're doing. Except for we're just kind of changing things. We're mucking around with the genome a little bit. But essentially, we're just cloning. That's all this is. It's technology. It's already existed. They've already done it. They've cloned Dolly the sheep. Remember that long, long ago? There's a lot of cloning been done. We already know how it works. We know how to do it. The only difference here, they're trying to bring back an extinct animal by inserting bits of genome from that extinct animal into a relative animal that is close to it, that is alive today. Why couldn't we take full genomes of animals that still exist but are in limited supplies? And why couldn't we just start cranking them out like a factory? If we want to eat fish, why can't we just clone a buttload of fish? And then you could feed the world. If we want to eat buffalo, bison is really good meat. If you want to eat that, clone a bunch of them big bastards and just clone them, grow them, right into the slaughterhouse, right onto the shelf. If we bring back the woolly mammoth like we're talking, they're talking about putting it in the Arctic to kind of terraform the Arctic, to knock down all the trees and make grass grow again and all that, kind of make the Arctic into what it used to be back in the time when they were alive. That's cool. But at the same time, why can't we make some of them big bastards and use them for food. We used to eat them back in the old days, back when it was caveman days and we were hunting them to extinction. They must have tasted pretty damn good. They must have given us the nutrients that we required to survive and thrive. So in a world that we're looking at food shortages and we're looking at farming on this world that's destroying it, the way we farm is ridiculous. When you go through with a plow and you rip up the earth, you're destroying the ecosystem underneath of it. You're destroying all the microbes, all the microbial life. You're destroying the worms, the bugs, all the little no-see-ums that live in the soil. You're just destroying that entire universe down there. Every time. That's why you got to keep pumping fertilizer onto the ground to make plants grow, because you've destroyed the ecosystem that they live in. If you want to farm sustainably, man, you got to do no plow farming. You got to do like a cover crop, like a wood chip or any kind of organic matter you dump on the ground and you plant into that matter. Down here in the South, we do it a lot with hay. Like we'll make hay and straw and we'll put that down and we'll plant directly into that on top of the ground and things will grow up. I prefer wood chips. I think wood chips are a great medium for growing because they keep the soil really, really damp. They hold the moisture in wonderfully. They take a long time to degrade, so they're slowly degrading into the soil and fertilizing that soil over time, giving it nutrients that it needs, nitrogen and other things that it needs to survive and to make your plants thrive are being produced through that degradation of the wood chips, and it happens over a long period of time. So wood chips are an amazing resource for growing in. But you can grow in just about anything, man. You can grow in manure. You can grow in all. There's ways you can take sand from the desert, and by putting compost on top of it, and wood chips on top of it, and manure on top of it, these things, organic matter on top, planting into the organic matter, you can grow crops in the desert. Okay, when you get all that vegetation in the desert, guess what happens? It starts capturing moisture. Moisture stays there. It rains because it evaporates up. And then it comes back down in rain. And when it rains, it doesn't flood like it used to because now there's something to hold the water. You got the root systems of all these plants to hold that water. So you don't have floods raging through a desert anymore. What you have is fertile ground. You can have forests. You can have crops. You can have anything you want. You can bring the deserts back to life through this process. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Back to what we're talking about with the woolly mammoths and the cloning and the whole deal. Why can't we do that as a food source for people? We can eat mammoths. We can eat bison. We can clone cows. We can clone anything we want. Really, I mean, we can make anything we want and just use it purely as a food source. Don't look at it as we're bringing these animals back and these animals are going to have this wonderful life. The whole purpose of these animals is to eat. So we're bringing them back to eat them, to feed people. It's doable. 100% doable. There's no reason why we can't do it other than money. And see, money is the problem. Money is always the problem. Because nobody does anything unless there's profit in it. I mean, right now we have what's called desalination plants that we can literally put next to the ocean anywhere in the world we want. We can take salt water from the ocean and we can distill it and make drinkable water out of it. Fairly easily. It's an easy process. Literally, it's boiling water. You boil the water, you capture the steam, you bring the steam down through a coil system like when we used to make shine back in the day. You hillbillies, you know what I'm talking about. We don't make it anymore. But we used to. Back in the day, way back then when we made it. It was delicious. But that's the same process. Same exact process. You're heating the water, not the mash. We're not distilling the alcohol up and taking it through the coil. No. We're just doing the water. Goes up, goes down through the coil. It cools. Drips out the bottom. Clean. As the water boy said, pure quality H2O. Easy process. Easy. You could literally do it with a pot and a campfire. It's easy. All you're doing is boiling water. We could do that anywhere in the world we wanted to. Any of these places that have massive droughts, that have oceans, could easily have as much water as they want. Water for their crops, water for their drinking, water to use for whatever purposes you want to use water for. If you want to set up sprinklers and slip and slides outside your house all day long, you could do it. There's no reason to have a water shortage anywhere in the world. 75% of the damn world is ocean. Why do we have water shortages when we have the capability of boiling water and making clean, drinkable water out of salt water? It's so easy, but it costs money. And that's the problem. Ain't no money in it. Ain't nobody going to make no profit. They're not going to do it. That's always the problem, isn't it? The technology is there to fix all of these problems fairly easily. If we just decide as a human race, as a species, that these priorities are important to us. We want people to have food. We want people to have clean, safe water. It's easy to do. You just got to come up with a better system than what we have, because our system sucks. Plain and simple, it sucks. I could take every desert on the planet and turn them into the most fertile land you've ever seen. We have the knowledge to do it. We have the capability to do it. Why don't we do it? Because a lot of those deserts are in areas where the people ain't got no money. And there ain't no money in it. You know how much money it would take to turn a desert into fertile farmland again, and how long it would take to recoup that investment? I do, because we did it before. If you've never seen the episode that we did called The Dust Bowl, check it out. We did it multiple years ago. There was a time period in the United States around the Depression era where literally people went in and planted a bunch of crops, harvested them, and then left it, because the price of corn went way up. So people cashed in on that. Like speculators, basically. They came in, rented fields, planted, harvested, didn't put down a cover crop, and just left the ground barren. Well, what ends up happening in the wintertime, if you don't have a cover crop and those winds come, you've got dry dirt. And the wind blows it, and it goes away. So what happens is the wind is blowing away your topsoil. And that's literally what happened on the entire West Coast. So you had all the topsoil blow away, and you literally have just waves of dust as high as you could see. It would block out the sun, and it would come flying across in these massive dust storms, and you couldn't even see in front of you. People would literally tie ropes from their barn to their house so they could hold the rope and walk out to the barn to feed the animals. That's how bad it was. It was nuts. Dust from California blew all the way to New York City and landed at the White House in Washington, D.C. So we've had that experience before. Now, how did they fix it? They planted a hell of a lot of trees. That's how they fixed it. They put down cover crop. Some kind of organic life with a root system to hold that soil in place. That's what they did. Trees are wonderful because every year at fall, what happens? Drops all of its leaves. That leaf cover goes down, and it degrades, and it turns into fertilizer for the ground. So you're creating topsoil year after year after year, rich, vibrant, wonderful topsoil, and that's what we did to fix it. And there's no reason we couldn't do the same thing in every desert out there. Start slow. You don't have to plant a buttload of trees in the beginning, because trees, sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't if they don't have good soil. Fix the soil first. Put down compost. Put down organic materials. And they will rot. As they rot, they decompose, they feed the ground, they make new soil. They feed the ecosystem. You start having this rich ecosystem underneath of all these microbes and earthworms and all this cool stuff. And then you got living, wonderful soil. And you can grow any damn thing you want in it. So between repurposing the deserts and making them live again, and cloning any kind of meat we want, there's no reason why anybody on this planet ever has to be hungry again. It's a choice. We don't have to live like that. The problem is you put profits ahead of everything else. We could fix it. We could fix it all. We could literally create a Garden of Eden again on earth if we chose to do so. But as always, choice is up to y'all. We have the ability. We have the technology, as they say in the movies. It's doable. It's damn doable. I know because the place I live, I took my land, which didn't have very good soil. When I moved here, it was all clay. And you had a hard time even getting grass to grow here. And through year after year after year of terraforming this property, putting down compost, making my own compost every year, I would go and I would mow lawns. And I would rake leaves for money back in the day when I was broke. And I would save all the grass that I cut in bags. And all the leaves I would collect, I would save. I'd bring them back here and I'd shred them up. And I'd compost them. And I'd take that compost and I'd put it on top of my orchards. I ended up planting 2 orchards here at the house now. I've got 2 orchards going on land that used to be only clay. And now I've got apple trees, walnut trees, pecan trees, pear trees, peach trees, cherry trees, all growing where there was only clay at one time. I have a vibrant, living property with 2 food forests on it that produce food every year. I don't have to do anything. It does it on its own. If you create the ecosystem, it will produce for you every year. There's no reason that every single city that has a park, that every one of those parks can't be food forests that are creating food every year for free. And then anybody that wants it just comes and gets it. Hey, man, you want some apples? Go get some apples, man. There's tons of apples. Why can't we do that? Now, you're going to say, well, you know, you can't do that because who's going to upkeep it? Who's going to pay to upkeep it? And you know, the liability is ridiculous. You can get sued if something happens to somebody and they get hurt, and you end up getting sued. And who's going to pay those bills and all that kind of stuff, man? People will take care of it. If you build it, they'll take care of it. They'll have a sense of ownership in that. And they'll want to pass that on to their children because that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you've ever been in a food forest, if you ever walked into an orchard and seen all the food all around you and just know, wow, man, this is more than I could ever eat. You want to pass that down to the next generation. You want to share that. People will take ownership of that. People will make sure it stays nice. And if you have to, make people sign waivers when they come in. Hey, you're going to come in here and pick. Anything happens to you, you're on your own, dude. You can't sue us. You're responsible for your own stuff. You could do that. See, all these excuses are just that. They're just excuses. There's no reason why we can't have a better world. And y'all know me, man. I ain't no hippie. I ain't no damn liberal idiot, peace and love crap. I'm not one of them dudes. But all this stuff is possible. Why the hell wouldn't we want a better life for our children and our grandchildren? Why would we want them to grow up in the same rigged system that we've grown up in? Why can't we fix it? And that's an honest question. Why? This goes beyond Republican, Democrat, and all that nonsense, man. Why can't we make a better world for our children? Now, I'm not buying into all the trigger words and all that crap, all the global warming and electric vehicles and all that nonsense. I'm not saying that, man. I'm just saying you have the potential for every single human being on this planet to be fed and to have clean water for free. It's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you do it? Now, it's not going to be free in the beginning. We're going to have to pay for it in the beginning to get it started. But how many billions and billions of dollars have they stolen from us? How much money do we waste every year giving it to dictatorships around the world that want to kill us? Why the hell couldn't we take some of that money and use it for something like this that'll actually help people and improve people's lives? Did you know that in the inner cities, there are a lot of people that don't even have fresh fruits and vegetables anywhere near them, within walking distance? There's no place they can go to buy fresh produce within walking distance of their home. That's crazy. Why couldn't we have every single park be a food forest? Why couldn't we have rooftop gardens, man? Where every one of them apartment buildings in the city, why couldn't on their roofs they have gardens growing? Where the people that live in that apartment building could go up and plant and grow and eat their own food. You know what I mean? There's so much we could do. The problem is nobody wants to do anything because there's no money in it. That's the sad truth of it, man. So I'm going to throw it over to old boy and see what he thinks about all this mess. I'm sure he's not going to get up on a soapbox like I did. I'm sure he's going to probably talk about dinosaurs, most likely. Old boy loves dinosaurs. So I imagine most of his time will be dinosaur time. But anyway, old boy, go ahead, brother.
Thank you, James, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. If you like it, again, always leave your comments. We always want to hear them. You guys read the article. They want to bring the mammoth. I think we've done this before, but it isn't just going to be about the mammoth. You know, it's going to be There was another thing I was reading. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. I hit my mouth. That I was reading. They want to bring other things back. Bringing back from extinction. I saw an article about that too, about the dinosaurs they want to bring back, and they want to put it in a species that's already alive. And I don't know, you've seen how that worked out in Jurassic Park, guys. It didn't work too well. Plus, we don't know what you're going to get from mixing genetics. Could be a dinosaur, but like upgrade. Dinosaur with an upgrade, like Jason with upgrade. Jason goes to hell. Remember, he gets an upgrade. Could be adapt very easier than that it did before. I don't think it's the best idea. Mammoths, I get it. They want to bring it back. I know that. I've been reading it. I know they got some other kind of. They found a baby mammoth in a tar pit somewhere. It was almost fully. It was stuck in the tar, but it didn't go anywhere because tar doesn't corrode. And they found other other babies in ice fully. They found that one was like fully still had the carcass and everything, was just frozen in the ice. I think they're going to do that. I know they're already doing it. They're just saying they are now. They always do about 15 to 10 years before. They're not telling you the truth. We all know how that goes. I don't know. If they're going to put the mammoths back there, I get it. I don't know where, maybe Antarctica. And because there's not a lot of people there and they could probably live there and that would make sense. There's a lot of weird stuff in Antarctica. We got to do another thing. This is setting up a show. I want to do Antarctica. I know it's going to be more than one show because there's so much stuff about Antarctica there. The UFOs, the creatures there. There's supposed to be a gate to hell. All kinds of stuff is in Antarctica. So I would love to do a show, and we will. And it's going to probably be more than one. But maybe there. Siberia and Russia, China, some parts of China has a lot of snow, places like that, maybe, not a lot of people, but, and, we know they're going to put them somewhere where people are going to see them like like a habitat. It's like a man-made one. And that's cool if we're going to save like endangered species and stuff like that. I could see that, like bringing back certain tigers and lions and animals and birds. It's like the bald eagle. They need to bring that back. It's still there, but they're endangered. So are whales, all kinds of stuff. And that would be cool. I don't know if you want a saber-toothed tiger running around. I get the mammoth. And again, if it's in Antarctica where there's no people, maybe the woolly rhino. I know they want to do that too. And the sloth, but I heard the sloth may still exist and in Brazil and in that hole in China. That's another show I want to do. That sinkhole had opened up and there's a whole another a bunch of green animals that was supposed to be extinct there. There's claims of the sloth is there, but China, they're not going to tell us anything. You know how that goes. So that would be a cool show to do next. But the mammoth, I get it. Other things, no. Like dinosaurs. I don't know why. I just don't know why. There's no reason. I don't care what anybody... I know it would be crazy and it'd be great, but imagine where they're going to go. Unless you put them in Antarctica. But they couldn't live there unless you fix their genetics, and that would take a while. So I don't think it's a good idea because nature tends to do what it wants. And it does. Look at what's going on. And I think out there with the polar bears and the grizzlies are mating because certain grizzlies and stuff like that are mating, and they made it's like a half breed of a polar bear and a grizzly. It's crazy looking too. Things happen. It happens in nature, and that's another thing that probably would happen is we don't need giant monsters running around trying to eat us, because I'm going to tell you something, it's probably going to be the end of us. We would have to kill them or they're going to kill us. There's no coexisting. They're too big. That maybe little dinosaurs, but even then, I just don't think it's a good idea to bring things back. They were gone for a reason, guys. People need to start realizing things happen for reasons. I don't care what you believe in, that's fine. But they're gone, they're gone. And to say that there is actually people who don't believe dinosaurs exist. And so what is that in the museums? That fake? Oh, they just put stuff. It's not, bro. I've seen them with my own eyes. I know people who've done digging. They exist. And you know what? If you believe that, I'm sorry. I don't care what you believe in, what your religious belief. We know they existed. We know what they were. There's proof on it. It's stop. Okay? We all, I think most of the people who believe in whatever you're going to believe in, Satan, God, Buddha, whatever you believe in knows there was dinosaurs. So just like there's space, there's some people who still don't believe the moon's real and we're doing land. That's fine. Believe whatever you want, man. You know what? That's fine. But I'm going to tell you something. I believe that's because you're scared. I believe that I'm sorry, I do believe in some conspiracy theories, but I think people overdo it. And what's crazy is if you're supposed to believe in something, you're not supposed to fear this stuff, and you do. You plainly do. And it's, again, everybody's fearing the unknown. I know, if there was a giant dinosaur that came out of nowhere, a dragon or something, yes, it would be scary, but it's also awesome. Most people kill it now, like always. Kill it. I'm going to show you an example. They did this thing with one of the robots. It traveled all over the world. It made it through Canada. Guess where it got destroyed? Detroit. They destroyed it, ripped it apart, and it proved a point. We're the ones that's worried about them taking over, and we're the ones that just proved a point why we're going to be the ones that destroy them. Like we destroy everything. And we're going to destroy ourselves one day. It's coming. I don't care what anybody thinks. One day it's going to happen. Maybe not now. Hundreds, thousands of years down the line, it's happening. I don't think everybody, but most people will be gone. We'll destroy ourselves by war, phantom, just too many people, and society will just go. Or diseases, monsters. You never know what's going to happen, guys. Alien attack. We don't know what's going to happen. But I can predict we won't be here forever. I maybe hundreds of years, maybe even thousands, but we won't. The Earth one day will be gone. I believe that. And like I said, I don't know the time or date. I'm not going to try to predict it. I don't care. When I'm gone, I'm not going to care anyway. Neither should you. I'm only worried about our species and what we're going to do while we're here. And hopefully they survive after I'm gone. Because if they don't, you know what? Just like everything else, something else will come along. And there probably is. There's other galaxies or other planets, because it's almost impossible for us to be the only planet with anything on it. There's millions of planets. The odds are impossible mathematically. There's either something there or we were just lucky. And the odds on that is almost impossible. So there's other beings in the world, in other worlds, in space, universes, galaxies, whatever you want to call them, they're there. I don't care what you think. That's fine. You know what? If you want to be like that, then you know what? Just do what you got to do. It's the same thing as like if something jumps out of the sky, Bigfoot tap dance in front of your house, you'd still probably think it's fake and somebody in a suit. You're not going to believe it. It doesn't matter what anybody says. You're not going to change your mind. And that's fine. Hide your box. That's fine. Never open your mind. Think that everything's just fake. And that's fine. I'm not going to try to change your opinions. I don't judge people. It is what it is. So you're probably going to do the same to me. And really, I don't care. People hate me all the time, so I don't care. I get attacked for my belief. I get attacked for being a ghost hunter. We get attacked as a team. My wife, because of our relationship, how we live our life. I don't care. It is what it is. I'm used to it. So I've been used to it all my life. I've always been picked on when I was a kid. I was heavy, got beat up all the time till I learned how to fight. That quit happening. That changed. But, you know, and that's a lot of things. One day I'm going to do a show about me. A real one. Might be 1 or 2 shows, and I hope James can do 1 too. I think he's already, but I'm going to explain me a lot. It'd probably be at least 1 or 2 shows. I won't cuss. I'll try not to. But you know how my mouth is, and we don't keep it shut pretty much. But one day I will do a show, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll understand me better. And, you know, maybe you won't judge people like me so much because you've seen so much crap on Hollywood and books that's not true. I know there's people who are bad. Trust me, there's bad at every religion, every belief, everything. But you guys got to realize TV's and caused a lot of these problems. So, other than that, these creatures I don't think will ever should be walking, most of them, like dinosaurs. It would be cool, but then, you know, killing it or doing pterodactyls or something flying around, that would be crazy. Giant monsters in the ocean, I already believe exist anyway, so it doesn't really matter about that. Maybe, like I said, woolly mammoths, woolly rhinos, maybe. And unless they're going to be in a population where no one's going to mess with them. And you know that's not going to happen because no one can keep their mind or mouth out of any, or their nose out of anybody's business. They think they have to change everybody, or they push their beliefs on everybody. You know how that's going to go. They're going to say, oh, I want to get them and sell them, you know, and put them in a circus. And that's what I don't want. And that's why I'm against them ever bringing any of this back. But I guess, I mean, if they're going to bring other animals that's dying out now, that would be fine. I'm fine, totally fine with it. Some of them. If we can bring a whole new population of whales and fish and shrimp and crab and stuff, you know, like the Tasmanian tiger, and I still think they're still there. There's proof of it. But we could get another population of those would be cool. The Tasmanian tiger. I want to do a show about that too. Another one we could lead up to. I'd like to do that 2 or 3 shows and then we're down the line to get you guys excited for something else. The Tasmanian tiger, the last one I think was recorded in the 30s or 40s on video. I'm not on video, on camera. And then it died out. And I think they're still around. There's movies about it. They still have pictures. Just like the chupacabra, I believe it's something else. It's a mutated animal. I mean, you've seen videos of it in Mexico and South America, even here in California and Arizona, the Mexico border. There's something. So, and I think that might be a genetic thing. Maybe aliens did it. Maybe there's something else. Maybe the aliens are just blaming it on this creature. They're just doing some weird, you know, destroying cows and taking goats and taking their blood and their, you know, these perfectly lasered parts. I remember seeing that on Unsolved Mysteries and stuff and other shows about aliens. They're perfect, like, cuts and stuff like that. And they didn't touch anything else in the body. And they said they don't even know what it is. They have experts stuff. Just like the rock cutting, how they got the Sphinx and stuff and perfectly cut rock. And even guys now in this day and age said it's almost impossible to do it. They couldn't probably copy it. So, and we have the technology we have now. It could be a possibility, guys. Like, that could happen. The aliens have a lot to do with our DNA. They made dinosaurs, and they saw dinosaurs were obsolete. There was no reason for them anymore, and they killed them. Or the comet blew them up. Asteroid, sorry, not comet. The asteroid hit and it destroyed them, and probably did because the ash was all over the world. But I don't think it killed all of them. That's just my opinion. Mammoths we're killed them out pretty much because early man killed a lot of them out. So for eating and stuff like that, we destroyed them just like the original buffalo. I think we could bring the buffalo back. That would be cool. That was another one I was just thinking about. You know, other than for their fur, that was really ignorant back in 15, 16, 17, even 1800s. They were in the 19th. They were just killing them for that. We destroy everything, guys. It's so crazy that how destructive we are as a race of people. I'm talking about all together. There's good people. Don't get it wrong. Don't take it wrong. And I know somebody's going to cry about it because they get offended by every little thing. I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying in general, we like to destroy stuff, and especially stuff we don't know and we think we know, that if it doesn't go with what we think, we should destroy it or get rid of it. And that's just not how it goes, man. I'm sorry. I disagree with that. That's a horrible way of living and thinking. We're not the only ones. We don't have a right to just make whatever rules we want. This is another thing that I have opinion about. We don't have the right to bring them back. Who gave them the right to do it? It's just crazy. They just do whatever they want, and they'll keep doing it. There's nothing. I could make a show all day about that, and you know how that's going to go. They don't care what we think. They're going to do what they want. They always do. So there's no point of even wasting breath on this part. You guys all know that. Tell your comments. Do you think dinosaurs, extinct animals, the mammoth, woolly saber-toothed tiger, woolly rhino, sloth, triceratops, brontosauruses, pterodactyls, sea monsters, all these megalodon, it still probably exists. They're proving it already. The megalosaurus, all these creatures coming back, the raptor. What would you guys do? I mean, think about that. That's crazy. Even with the giant brontosauruses, they're like 90 feet tall. Come on, guys. Like, where are we going to do it? They're like giant, like gentle animals, but they still are too big. They'll destroy everything. And, we would have to put them in a area like Jurassic Park, but they got out. That's the point. Somebody's always going to want to steal one and make money off it. And our country either make them as weapons, use their DNA for something. It's always going to be like that. Make money. And we all know that's where it all comes down to. Somebody's going to want to make money. And making money is all that matters in most people's mind. And don't realize you're only going to live one lifetime. Well, some people believe you come back. That's not true. But just so you know, you can't die with the money. You can live a good life. But if you treat people like crap, I don't care what you believe or who you are, you're a miserable person. I'm sorry. I'm not saying all rich people. There's a lot of rich people who are cool out there. There's a lot of people who are just jealous because they're not rich. And they think they should, or they should be getting their life paid for. And that's just not how life goes. But some people don't get raised like that. They believe they're owed something. And this is how it goes in this day and age. Everybody thinks they're owed something. And they're not. And that's just how life is. But I don't know what they should do. Some animals, I think so. Like a mammoth, it would be cool. And I think they're going to do it anyway, so it doesn't matter how much I waste my time talking about it. They're going to do it. So what did you guys think? Leave your comments like you always do, guys. Tell me how you think, what's going to happen. Give us ideas about other shows we could do. We love them. We got a couple of them out of the show now, and I hope you guys realize we do these shows because we absolutely love doing them for you. This is our dream, and we're living it. And soon it's going to be on TV and on radio shows, and it's going to get bigger than I ever imagined. And I had this as a dream, and it came true, and so did James. And I thank you guys, and we love you. There you go, brother. That's all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed the show this week on Parax Radio. Every Sunday nights at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. And the best of on Tuesday nights at 5 Eastern, 8 Pacific. If you like the show, subscribe to James Hirsch's YouTube page. You want merchandise, he'll tell you where to go. Shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. We're doing a lot of things coming up, guys. A lot of big things. You'll see soon. A lot of good things are coming. I love you guys. I'm glad you guys have been following us for over 6-7 years now. On Parax it's going to be 6 years on Parax, I think. Or 5 years. I'm sorry. So I hope you guys have been enjoying every minute of it. We enjoy doing this for you guys. We love you. Blessed be and have a good night. Misfits, sugar ladies, monster lovers, and demon hunters. We love you and have a good night.
Thank you, brother. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. It was definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. Had a little bit of rant going on. Old boy went off on a little tangent of his own. But yeah, he did talk about dinosaurs. I told you he was going to talk about dinosaurs. That boy loves some dinosaurs. Hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments section when this hits YouTube what you thought. And just your thoughts on the whole thing. Should woolly mammoths be brought back? Should any extinct animals be brought back? Because we could do it. But should we? Is it smart? When we make whatever it is it going to be even what we're trying to make or something else? It's all up to chance, really. We don't know until we do it. What's going to happen? What do y'all think about that? Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, it's up to you to make up your own minds. Shameless plug time. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. If you are watching this right now on YouTube, you're already here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. And please hit that little notification bell thingy so that you know when we post. If you are listening on the radio, go to youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. and subscribe, please. Check out the channel. It is amazing. We've got a very big audience on the radio. We're in a lot of countries that hear the show. And not a lot of people come to the YouTube channel to check it out and to check out the replays and everything because they listen on the radio, so they don't have to listen to the replays there. But there's a lot more than just staring on the YouTube channel. You got tales there, you got paranormal news, there's all kinds of good stuff. In the description box of every single video is the link to the merchandise store. If you want to support the channel, you want to support Staring, you want to support us and the work that we do, great way to do so. The prices are good, the quality is good. Check it out. We got all kinds of cool stuff. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us again this week. Thanks for all the support you've given us. We love you. We appreciate you. And until we speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.